If you've heard that inventory is climbing in Central Alberta, you'd probably assume that prices are going to finally come down. They're not. In fact, July prices finished higher than last year in Red Deer, Lacombe, Sylvan Lake, and Blackfalds, even though sales slowed in every one of those markets. So, how can inventory go up, sales go down, and prices still hold? Because Central Alberta isn't one real estate market. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. I'm Pat Garrity. I've been selling real estate in Central Alberta for more than 26 years. I pulled July 26 against July 25, and there are three things in these numbers that matter if you're thinking about buying or selling. The first one surprised me. Let's start with Red Deer. There were 409 homes for sale this July compared to 335 last year. That's a noticeable jump. But here's the interesting part. New listings were almost identical. 280 this July versus 277 last year. So Red Deer isn't suddenly being flooded with people trying to sell. Homes are simply just staying on the market longer. That's a very different problem. Detached homes are still holding around $490,000 median sale price, while apartments are, obviously they're the softer part of the market. So the headline isn't everyone is selling, it's buyers have become more selective. And you're going to see that the same thing again over and over. Now, let's look at Sylvan Lake. Inventory jumped from 118 homes last July to 164 this July. At the same time, sales fell from 54 to 32. On paper, you'd think prices would have to fall. They didn't. Detached homes still reached roughly $530,000 median sale price. So, two things are happening at the same time. Sellers are still achieving strong prices, but they're competing much harder for that buyer. Now, compare that with Blackfalds. Inventory is down, new listings are down, detached homes average roughly $470,000. And here's the number that really shows the difference. Blackfalds is sitting in around 2 months of supply. Sylvan Lake has about 5. Two towns, roughly 20 minutes apart, two completely different real estate conversations. That's why somebody's saying, here's what the Central Alberta market is doing isn't enough anymore. You have to ask, what part of Central Alberta? And that's really the big story this month. This market hasn't shifted from good to bad. It's shifted from speed to strategy. A couple of years ago, buyers often had to make decisions fast because they were afraid someone else would buy the house. Today, in some segments, buyers have options. And when buyers have options, they get picky. That's the good news if you're buying. You can compare homes, look at value, and in some cases, negotiate instead of feeling like you have to chase the market. But if you're selling, this matters even more. Your home has to make sense at its price immediately. The photos matter. The presentation matters. The condition matters. And the price matters. Because buyers are judging your listing thumbnail the same way you judge the thumbnail that got you in this video. If it doesn't look worth clicking on, they move to the next one. And Lacombe quietly reinforces this point. Inventory actually fell year over year, while detached homes averaged about 460 compared to about 440 last July. Now, Lacombe is a smaller sample, so one or two sales can move the average more than, say, Red Deer would. But once again, the lesson is the same. You can't understand this market from one regional headline. You need to know the individual town. You need to know the property type, and you need to know how much competition is actually sitting beside you. So, if you remember one thing from this update, make it this. Inventory is up, prices are up, both can be true at the same time. Because what's really changed isn't necessarily what homes are worth, it's how hard they have to compete for the buyer. And that changes dramatically depending where you are. If you want the numbers for your specific town and your specific property type, text me the word July at 587-815-5152. I'll pull the numbers that actually apply to you and send them over. No cost, no chasing you afterwards. I'm Pat Garrity with the Trilliant Real Estate Group, and we are fiercely local.